those groups such as the Palestinians and formerly the Viet Cong, who saw themselves as opposing colonialism, right? They're allowed to get away with murder. But much of the Western elite would be severe and would pay really close scrutiny to counterinsurgency, counterterrorism techniques. It used to be that if you're not in uniform, you don't get any of the benefits. You don't get any of the benefits of the Geneva Conventions. But now, so there's criticism of Israel not abiding by the Geneva Conventions, and it's fighting terrorists who don't abide by the Geneva Conventions and who haven't signed on to the Geneva Conventions and are not traditionally entitled to any of the protections of the Geneva Convention. So another trope in the mainstream media is how everything that Netanyahu does is for his own selfish interest and is against the interest of hostages. Oh, and another trope is that Israel does X, Y, Z, but it's not going to fulfill its strategic objectives, which its number one objective is to bring home the hostages. Well, that's not necessarily the number one strategic objective of Israel. You'd think that Israel's number one strategic objective would be to survive. And we've already seen how releasing Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails, right, just leads to more slaughter of Israeli civilians. So Israel gave up thousands of Palestinian terrorists back to Palestine to free one lousy Israeli soldier, Gilad Shalit. And then these thousands of Palestinian terrorists, right, they go out and slaughter more Israeli civilians. And one of the Palestinians who was released was Yahya Sinjar, the leader of Hamas, the man who organized and directed the October 7th slaughter. So you'd think that Israel, by and large, would wise up to what a bad deal it is to release thousands and hundreds of Palestinian terrorists in exchange for a few hostages.